Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm in a new shooting area today, and one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to test out this Palmetto AR-15 with the new Atibal SLR-1 that I have mounted on here. This is the solar-powered red dot that from Atibal, and I'm in a different location than where I'm usually at. I helped a friend of mine clear out a new shooting area over here, and I'm gonna do a separate video on the details of how we did that. Basically, using a chainsaw. We didn't knock down any trees. We just clipped a couple of branches out of our way to give us a clear path. Basically all you need is some flagging tape. This is also very useful for figuring out what your wind is. So you got some flagging tape, tape measure, some binoculars, and we cleared out we cleared out 260 yards. Today I shot this Palmetto with the SLR-1 at 200 yards. Okay, and I know like I said, I measured it out, so it's an exact 200 yards. And I'm very very pleased with the results. So this red dot has been zeroed in at 50 yards. Okay, so now this is at 200 yards, and basically 6-shot group. It pretty much opened up to the whole paper. I was working with a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind today. That was like inconsistent. Like sometimes it was blowing left, sometimes it was blowing right, sometimes it was coming backwards, sometimes it was coming forward. So it's actually a little bit calmer right now, because right now it's almost starting to get dark. I shot this earlier in the day, and basically between the furthest two shots, I got a 9-inch group. And I know this type of year we're gonna get wind. I mean it's I gotta pretty much wait until the spring to know that I will get days where there's not gonna be any wind. So wind is just gonna be an issue. And basically going across, it's only about 4 inches going across. It's more of an up and down issue. So I would say that at the point that I was shooting this, I was probably getting an inconsistent wind that was, and I don't remember whether it was blowing behind me or in front of me, but it looks like there was a wind that was either speeding up or slowing down my bullets, making them rise or drop. Okay. So the cool thing is that with the 50 yard zero, I mean I am hitting at 200 yards. Now, mind you, I shot this a couple of times when I try. Now remember, at 200 yards, I mean this bullseye here, you don't even bother putting it on there. You're not gonna see the bullseye with a red dot. The whole paper is basically your bullseye. So initially what I was doing is I was trying to center on the red dot on the paper, and I saw that some of my shots were hitting low. So what I did is I started centering a little bit higher on the paper, like up here, okay, and they were coming into the center. So basically the 50 200 yard zero does work. I mean, but it's not going to be perfect. I mean, if you're trying to hit a man-sized target, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if it drops a little bit, but because that's going to vary with a couple of things, length of your barrel, ammunition you're using. I mean, I was using a 55 grain Remington, so I think when I shot this at 50 yards, I pretty much had it at a bullseye over here. So at 200 yards, it looked like it was dropping a little bit lower. So when I shot it a little bit higher. So that's the reality of shooting 200 yards with a red dot. I mean, it's if you have a 50 yard zero, don't expect it to be exactly. Don't expect an exact bullseye at 200 yards. That's not likely to happen. I mean, you could probably force it to happen by maybe playing with the different types of ammunition, getting some ammo that's maybe a little bit faster or a little bit slower. A heavier bullet or a lighter bullet, you might be able to get it to fit perfectly. But it will get you on the paper. I mean, I was able to get on the paper. Like I said, I just had to adjust it just a little bit higher. And even if I hadn't adjusted, like I said, I was hitting down here. So, you know, it's still, you know, this paper is an 8x11 paper, so, you know, I still would have been hitting down here. I'm still hitting a man-sized target without, you know, even if I'm going center. So this is not bad. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, given that the wind was pushing this back and forth, you know, like I said, I shot it a couple times. Sometimes the wind was pushing to the side, so I saw the shots shift to this side or to that side. So at 200 yards, you know, shooting the 55 grain, the wind is gonna mess with you a little bit. You know, at least you know, at least you know, a couple of inches, 3-4 inches. Now let's talk. Like I said, that's the Palmetto. I was using the Palmetto AR-15. So, you know, great rifle. I believe I've shot 2 inches with that at 100 yards. I did a review on that. You guys should be able to find it. Let's talk real quickly about this SLR-1. When I was shooting this earlier in the day, the sun was above me. It was brighter. What I had to do is, because this is a solar-powered red dot, I have to use some painter's tape to cover this up, because that's the only way I can get the red dot dim enough so that it's not overwhelming my target. Now, granted, if I'm just doing, like, you know, if I'm just shooting really fast, you know, I want that starburst. I want to be able to come up and see that target. It's getting dark now, so all of a sudden, like, that red dot, basically, there's not enough light out right now for that, you know, to power this red dot. And you know, I wasn't even expecting it. I mean, I know because I've been shooting this, but right now I didn't know that it would be off. Let me just put it back on. Okay, so right now it is running off of the battery. Okay, so there is not enough. Let me see that. So yeah, there's no difference. I can tell if it's running off the battery or if it's taking light from the, you know, from the sky, you know, from the sun, based on if I'm covering this up. You know, I'll see that it'll change. Let me see if this goes brighter. Yeah, so now it's going brighter. Let me hold down the plus key, because that's how you are supposed to switch between modes. Okay, if I hold down the plus key, it just goes off. So there's not enough light out right now for this to work. You know, just by, you know, I mean, just for comparison's sake, with my house on, with both the 503C and the 403C, you know, this is more. It will work with this light. It will stay in solar power mode. So just, you know, I mean, that's just what it is. You know, so, you know, that's just how that works. Yeah, that's a matter of personal choice. The thing with this is, when I put this in, right now it's in manual mode. The only thing I have found, and I did a prior review on this, in manual mode, I'm not able to dim it as low as I would like to at night. Right now it's fine for this light level, but if I was shooting at something far away, I would like to have it a little bit dimmer, and there's really no way to get this dimmer. And at this point where I am right now, because, you know, if I was in solar power mode, I'd be able to cover the top with the blue tape, because right now it's not feeding off of the light. There's no way for me to get it any dimmer than it is. So I wanted to give you guys some feedback on that. I've only been working with this red dot for about a week or two, so I think 2 weeks maybe now. So I'll continue to give you guys updates as they come in. I'll talk to you guys next time.